took the opportunity from a few days off of work to do a quick trip in the van. I found this small parking lot in a wildlife area next to Big Creek State Park. It's a nice small parking lot and I've never seen anyone in there before, so I thought it would be a good spot to take. I left some room behind my van and the fence so I could use my kitchen. The mosquitoes were already out at that point, so I would have to use my mosquito nets too. So like I said, I was at a wildlife area just outside of Big Creek State Park in Iowa. I just had an opportunity to do a quick one night camp. It's only a half hour away from my house, but I took that opportunity. On this trip, I planned on doing some fishing and some unicycling, so at that moment, I was walking out to one of three ponds that I was wanting to try. I wasn't having much luck on one side of the pond, so I moved across to the side where there's quite a bit of weeds. I didn't have my frog bait, I lost that, so I used my crayfish bait. Unfortunately, I was just pretty much collecting weeds and not any fish, but decided to move on to the next pond. So I have a crazy story. When I was walking to the second pond, I scared off a deer. I didn't think anything of it until I saw its baby hiding in the bushes. A few minutes later, the baby kind of started walking towards me. So I picked up my things and I just walked a few steps away. And then the baby followed me for that few steps. So I went into a little bit of a jog to see if it would follow me. And it did. It started jogging with me. So I managed to lose it because I didn't want my scent on it. I just fished at the lake for a little bit. Didn't have much luck at the lake. I did see a few fish jumping out in the distance, but I could never cast out to them. So I decided to head back and have some dinner. Put the mosquito nets up because they were really coming around. Unfortunately, it doesn't go all the way to the ground, but it really does help to keep the mosquitoes out of the van itself, which is all I care about. A classic van camping food for me is kielbasa or Polish sausage. It's already pre-cooked out of the store, so it's really easy just to unwrap and heat up. I usually only eat about half of it. If I'm out for a week, I'll just cook all of it and throw it in the cooler and just eat it cold another day. But just for one day, I'm just gonna eat half of it and throw the rest back in the cooler and then put it in the fridge when I get home. That's how I usually do it. And of course, I forgot my frying pan, so I just had to do everything in the pot. That's alright, it serves the same purpose to me. I also chopped up some carrots and some broccoli to put in there. It's kind of nice to have them mixed with the meat and the vegetables. I also like to have some cooking oil just so things don't stick on there. I'm just staying overnight and I have room in the cooler. I'll usually bring a couple single milks from Casey's. Really nice to have, and then I can just eat on my bed and just look out the window. So I went to bed around 10:50, which is a little bit later than I usually like to do, but there were cars kind of driving past quite a bit. There's a fishing jetty just down the road with a fire ring, so I think people were having a fire and doing some fishing. But it's going to be a nice night. The low was supposed to originally be, I think, 40 degrees, but it got down to only about 50 that night, so it was really warm. I think I just slept with one blanket and my t-shirt. I slept really well that night. I was never really too hot or too cold. No one was ever driving past at like 3 a.m., so it was super quiet. I left some of the windows cracked, so I got to just kind of hear the nature. It was super nice. So before I left that morning, I wanted to do some unicycling on the snowmobile track. It's a 10-mile loop around the state park, and it can get pretty popular with mountain bikers when the trails are wet, but it also gets pretty overgrown in the spring. So after about 2 miles, I realized it was just too overgrown for me. I had weeds getting caught in my cranks, and it was just no fun. I was pulling ticks off me. So I decided to just turn around right there. It's in between two ponds. It was good scenery. And it's going to be a fun ride back, but I just didn't feel like completing it because it was way too overgrown. So I made it back to the van. It was overall a really good trip, even though I didn't catch any fish and I couldn't complete my unicycle ride. It was still super nice to get out. I hadn't camped in a while, and it was really nice to just get in my van after I've been working so hard on it lately. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.